How do we get this low? You come over and we start a fight. Never know who's wrong or right. Feel nothing when you go. I know it's not intelligent, drinking for the hell of it, but that's irrelevant now. We should talk about us. How come we're holding on? Cause really I don't see the benefits now. When you've broken my trust, so I just wonder, why do I fall back to you? Really nothing I can do about it. Why do I fall back to you? It's like you're a drug to me, I can't quit. It's not like we're still 22, trying something new, just a pastime. I don't think that we ever could work this out. None of it makes sense, there's no reason why I still fall back to you.
Undiscovered, didn't care for one another, you and I. Thought I was okay, till something in me changed, don't know why. You got me high, but I'm sober. You make me lonely when I'm by myself. I should be free, but I'm hoping that we could be something in the end, something more than friends. discovered. Didn't care for one another. You and I thought I lost my way, but you washed out all the gray. Don't know why, don't know why. You got me high, but I'm sober. You make me lonely when I'm by myself. I should be free, but I'm hoping that we could be something in the end, something more than friends. In the end, something more than friends. In the end, something more than friends. In the end, There's a feeling in my soul, can't defeat it. I lose control on your marks. Get set, are you ready to go? Give me meaning when I'm low, when I'm bleeding. You push me on your marks. Get set, are you ready to go? There's fire in our love. Fire in our love. Won't you hear me all the time when you touch me? I feel alive on your marks. Get set, are you ready to go? I was empty till I let you spark within me. Shine right through on your marks. Get set, are you ready to go? There's fire in our love. There's fire in our love. Yeah. There's fire in our love. There's fire in our love.
It doesn't even make sense why I think about you. It was only one night, only that time, and it's not my style to be caught up in the middle like this. 'Cause now I dream about you. I was probably too drunk, it's blurry, but I've got the image of you running circles in my mind right now. And it could fade away, but it probably won't, and I should let it be. But I'm gonna dive into you, and maybe I'll drown, but what can I do? And it would be alright to let me down. Rather we try than let these feelings slide. So I'm gonna dive into you.
It doesn't even make sense why we try to fight it. Every time that we touch, the room caught on fire. We could blame it on the wine, but we know that we will both be lying. I wish I didn't want you. I was doing just fine, the way that it was. Then you hand me these emotions, didn't want them, but I guess that I'm stuck with them. They could go away, but I know they won't, and I should let it be. But I'm gonna dive into you, and maybe I'll try, but what can I do? And it will be alright to let me down. I'd rather we try than let these feelings slide. So I'm gonna dive into you, dive into you, dive into you, dive into you.
doesn't even make sense. Why I think about you. It was only one night, only that time, and it's not my style to be caught up in the middle like this.
But I'm gonna dive into you. And maybe I'll try. What can I do? And it will be alright. So let me down. Whenever we try to let this feeling slide. So I'm gonna dive into you. Dive into you. Dive into you. Dive into you. Dive into it will be alright. So let me down. Whenever we try to let this feeling slide. So I'm gonna dive into you.
Fired all of the bullets. Yeah, you shot me through the heart. Casting dice and roulette. The game was set right from the start. I don't wanna go, I don't wanna know, I don't want it keep coming back for more. We're crashing down in the rain. All things are burning up in flames. We're going under. Bang, bang like thunder. Bang, bang like thunder. We're crashing down in the rain. Our love will never be the same. We're going under. Bang, bang like thunder. Bang, bang like thunder. Yeah, the air's getting thinner. Higher than high we go. A game with no winners. We keep pushing more and more. I don't wanna go. I don't wanna know. I don't want it anymore. I don't wanna go. Don't wanna know. But I keep coming back for more. Crashing down in the rain. All things are burning up in flames. We're going under. Bang, bang like thunder. Bang, bang like thunder. We're crashing down in the rain. Our love will never be the same. We're going under. Bang, bang like thunder. Bang, bang like thunder. Yeah, the air's getting thinner. Higher than high we go. A game with no winners. We keep pushing more and more. Crashing down in an aeroplane. All things are burning up in flames. We're going under. Bang, bang like thunder. Bang, bang like thunder. We're crashing down in an aeroplane. Our love will never be the same. We're going under. Bang, bang like thunder. Bang, bang like thunder.
We head for the sky, it's alright. Our wings wouldn't fly, it's alright. If we are crashing down again, pieces of love, it's alright. Scattered in mud, it's alright. You're giving me a lie again. And tell me what you want, this time I won't take it to the heart. Cause I know we won't make it out. I've heard it all before. Yeah, tell me what you want, let me hear that I'm the only one. You know that we won't make it out. We've heard it all before. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright, so let's move on. 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 We head for the sky, it's alright. Our wings wouldn't fly, it's alright. If we are crashing down again, pieces of love, it's alright. Scattered in mud, it's alright. You're giving me a lie again. And tell me what you want, this time I won't take it to the heart. Cause I know we won't make it out. I've heard it all before. Yeah, tell me what you want, let me hear that I'm the only one. You know that we won't make it out. We've so let's move on. It's alright, 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 so let's move on. Alright, so let's move on.
You make me lose my mind like all the time. It still feels right. Stuck in an endless fight like every night. It still feels right. Even though we can stay, I wanna change a thing. 'Cause without you, everything means nothing. You make me lose my mind like all the time. It still feels right. Oh yeah, still feels right. 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 Still feels right.
This is amazing. Oh, I know what I'm getting tonight. I'm loading up on these.
Amazon do one as well. Look at that.
Who does
Pen
one?
coffee as an air freshener for the car.
Ooh.
Holy moly!
I know what I'm getting tonight.
Does the missus drink coffee as well?
Yes, but she is very sensitive to caffeine, so only decaf for her.
Ah,
Yeah. So we've got I have like a whole separate like brewing area for the decaf stuff. Make sure there's no cross contamination.
This is my zone. This is your zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not enter my zone. Oh man, I need to order that. Okay, Amazon.
To make it even better, as Australia as it gets, I've got my kangaroo coaster.
Oh,
Go.
Oh, sweet.
Uh,
Right. Good morning, everybody. We are
Hi,
live.
Michael.
Welcome to the Drone's Life live stream. We usually stream on a Wednesday evening, as you guys know. But for this special occasion, we have one and only Nick Willard. Good morning, good evening.
Good morning, England.
I have the postman ringing my doorbell. 2 seconds.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
You should put a note on the door, man. Like recording in progress.
One of those lights above the door.
Yeah. On air.
On air.
You're halfway there, then your
Yeah,
wife's
just like the red light turned on.
Hey, nice lack of socks, Shane. I'm liking it.
Oh, that's because they're here, ready to go on, and I couldn't be bothered. I did tell you there was a whole night of cognac
really?
last night, and it didn't end well.
God, can't even imagine what 9 a.m.'s like after a night like that.
I can, and it ain't pretty. Honestly, it's not good. So, how you been, Nick? And the rest of the
I've been
team?
good.
Yeah. I've noticed you've been out flying recently because your restrictions have been lifted and stuff.
Finally, man. It's been about 6 months of restrictions that we've been through, and like 3 weeks ago they got lifted, and there's less and less each week. I don't even think we have any now, or if they are, there's like basically none. So it's super exciting. We can go meet up with friends, go flying again, head out really anywhere. Whew, it's been such a relief.
Yeah.
Sorry, I opened my mail here.
It's all right, Shane. You do you.
What's in the box, man?
Oh man,
You want to show us? Show and
Open the
tell?
box. Open the
Yeah,
box.
absolutely. It's from Phil in Cornwall. It's from Phil at Kernel Chocolate.
Ooh. Make like I know where Cornwall is.
Oh, it might be.
It's literally a box of chocolate.
Like I need any more chocolate to help with my figure.
Got the Corona bod.
Oh, don't talk to me about that, man. You know,
Yeah.
itching to go out and do some stuff. In Scotland here, we're pretty much in the central belt, so we're pretty locked down at the minute.
Oh God.
Very tight
I'm just
restrictions.
happy that it's over. That was it was getting a bit much
Mhm.
towards the end of it. Like once month 4 rolled around, of not even being able to like go to the store with Nikki because only one person was allowed out. I was like, all
Yeah.
right, this is kind of boring. We should probably just get this under control and go back to normal.
Yeah, it's got to the point, right, where I was going to the supermarket on my own, and then started to do the collect stuff outside. So there'll be like a separate chilled truck that you can go and pick up your groceries and stuff from.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It's
I want to do that normally.
it's like 30 seconds and you're done. They just
Oh,
bring it out,
that's a
chuck it in your car, and then
dream.
you're off.
That sounds like, why don't they just do that everywhere? Why do they even have grocery stores? Just roll up in
Mhm.
30 seconds in and out, get your food out of a box and go home.
Drive-by stores. That's what they need.
Drive-bys. Yeah.
Everyone needs more drive-bys in their life.
Give me my groceries.
Yeah.
I can't make jokes like that. I'm not in America anymore.
No, the Aussies have a really good sense of humor because we did an interview with Chad Novak, and he was telling us all the stories about how they wind tourists off about staring at the lake because of the crocs and stuff. Have they not played that joke on you yet?
No, not yet.
Oh. I've just ruined like the ultimate.
Yeah,
Aussie joke.
they're like, dude, look at that. Those crocs in the lake. I'm like, what?
Yes, you are.
Not fall for that one.
And then you're dragged away by a croc from the lake.
Exactly.
I told you I was telling the truth.
Oh man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried. This is my first summer that I actually am going to have in Australia. So I've only been here basically like in fall and winter and a bit of spring. So like it's not hot. You know, a lot of the big scary bugs are in hibernation. But apparently summer is when, you know, it turns into like meme city, spiders the size of your house coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not looking forward to this.
Look, I'm going to say that dresser behind you is definitely Nikki's because you don't.
It is most definitely
You
Nikki's.
don't wear perfume and stuff like that, do you?
It is most definitely Nikki's.
Well, Shane, it is the weekend. He's allowed to do what he wants. Come on.
Whatever floats your boat, man.
Maybe I like some Gucci in the morning, man. I don't know.
Oh,
It's fair enough. Right, so Nick, known as Wild Willy, how did that name become your handle?
Oh, that's
ironic.
Man, it's just so long ago. So it was originally it was just Willard FPV back in the day, like 5 years ago. I remember like the first like big race that I went to was I can't even remember the name of it. It was the cave race they had like in Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
Didn't
it was
do
not
that as well?
XTC. Yeah. Well, it was the one that Nerk did was the one the year after
Yeah,
I
right.
did mine, or the second
That's
year after. But yeah, it was that one. It was the very first time they did that race in the caves in Louisville. I remember there was like rumors. I mean, this was like back when, you know, this is like one of the first big drone races ever. And there was like news, like a news crew is going to rock up at like 6 a.m. and like interview people and like, you know, cover what's going on. So everyone like woke up as well. First off, the race didn't end until like 2 a.m. the night before. So we get done at 2 a.m. Most people didn't go back to bed, went back, just fixed stuff, and then back into the caves they went. At 6 a.m. Everyone's dead tired. We're all waiting like for this, you know, this elusive news crew show. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, drone racing on TV! This is gonna be awesome!" And everyone's just wrecked, man. I mean, half people haven't gone to bed yet. We stop by the gas station. I get like 8 cups of coffee, and I pound like every single one of them before going in. And I'm like, I'm wired, like bouncing off the walls, and everyone's like, "What is this kid doing?" And it was Code Red who actually coined the name Wild Willy, because he was like, you better calm down, you Wild Willy. I have to put you back in your place. It's too early for this shit right now.
Yeah, Cody's quite funny.
And he literally just offhandedly said it one time, and everyone was just like, that's it. That's your new name. Your name's Wild Willy. And then for the rest of the event, everyone referred to me as Wild Willy. And after that, it started, you know, growing, and everyone other places heard on, started calling me that like as a joke. And then it ended up just getting so big, I was like, well, you know, I guess that's just my name now. So I went ahead, changed all the social media stuff over, and just accepted it for what it is.
That's fair enough, man. Fair enough. So you recently graduated, doing some aerospace stuff.
Indeed, about a
Yeah.
year ago now, as crazy as that sounds.
From Georgia Tech, was it?
Yep.
Yeah. And how long did
So-
you spend doing that? Was that a decision that you came up with during high school, or was it something later?
Oh, yeah,
in education.
I've always wanted to do that. I've always loved engineering, always loved things that fly. I had pretty much picked doing that since I was like 6 years old. So it was fun. I really enjoyed the program, even though it's difficult. It's kind of like that fun difficult, where it's like you do problems and you're done with it. You're like, oh, that's kind of cool. What I came up with and what I did afterwards. So I had a blast throughout the whole thing. It was a bittersweet moment graduating, but I've been working on some pretty cool stuff over the last year, so it's been continuing the fun train, it seems like.
Yeah, so that knowledge, experience, learning, you carried that into the Flight 1 stuff? That be about right?
Yeah, so it's been kind of like a gradual shift, kind of been going from, because even during school, towards the end of it, I was helping out here and there and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then afterwards, I kind of got, especially over the last, year and a half, the last year, I've kind of really shifted into learning that stuff, because a lot of like the flight control stuff is really what I've always wanted to do. But I didn't learn any of it in school. I barely learned. And on the actual computer science side of things, the actual programming side, they're just like, here, use a program that does everything for you and just put a couple numbers in and it'll do all the magic for you. So I was kind of empty when I graduated, realizing I didn't really know how to do the stuff I wanted to do.
Mhm.
So now I've been basically I'm now full-time, essentially, developer on Falco X and with Flight 1. And I've basically just learned all that's knowledge on the job, essentially. And it's been awesome to finally kind of get to learn the stuff that I've the nitty-gritty stuff I really wanted to learn. And it's been super fun. It's been really rewarding. And it's been a blast.
Sweet. So, we have a thing that we ask all our guests, and it's
Oh God.
it's we've got a couple of questions. So the first one we'll fire up is
No pressure.
no pressure. So, pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
Absolutely. I don't believe people who say that pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. I'm telling you, it's just such a basic taste, like sweet and savory and salty all together. Come on.
They need
Like,
to make
why
it a
not?
law.
Why? I don't get. I'm telling you, people don't like pineapple on pizza because it's cool to say pineapple on pizza sucks. I'm calling it now. If I were to blindfold you and feed you pineapple on pizza to someone who said they hated it, they'd be like, "Wow, that's delicious. What a great combination of sweet and savory."
Hell yeah. I'm with you, Willy.
It's
Everybody
a-
else doesn't, but I'm with you.
Man, hate it. And people think pineapple doesn't belong on pizza.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's-
you're just trying. That's just trying to be trendy, man. It's actually good. I promise.
It's part of one of your 5 a day. It's a fruit.
To do what?
It's
Oh
part
yeah,
of
exactly.
One of 5 a day, isn't it?
Exactly.
so
I
the
wonder how many people actually say they don't like it, but never tried it.
I
I've
would
tried
say
it,
at least
it's not for
80%.
me.
Yeah.
I
Don't
would
look at
say
me.
most people
Enough
have
said.
never tried it. That is
I mean-
because it's good. It's cool to hate it. So people are like, why would I even try it? Everyone else hates it. I'm gonna hate it. Obviously, I hate it. I'm like, we haven't tried it yet. How do
many
you even
people
know?
actually say they don't like it, but then go and secretly eat one?
Oh, I'd probably say a good percentage of people. I'd say the people who say they don't like it and have actually tried it, eat it in secret. It's the people who haven't tried it yet, and it's like, oh, I hate it. Those are the people who actually don't eat it.
See, for me, it's the idea of warm pineapple more than anything.
Yeah, same. It's like
Warm
cooked,
pineapple.
What do you mean?
overcooked pineapple.
How else
Thanks.
do you not? Wait. So wait. Have you ever tried just sautéing pineapple rings?
Nope.
Yeah.
If you haven't, you need to, because it's incredible. It's the best way to eat pineapple. Just take some little pineapple ring, just even the canned ones you can get from the supermarket. Just chuck it in a fry pan on high heat for a minute. Flip it, good to go. It's incredible.
Or is it pineapple fritters?
I actually haven't had pineapple fritters, but now I want to go have some.
Yeah, absolutely. Deep fried. Steve, you'd love that deep fried battered pineapple.
Oh, there we
It's
go.
not a thing up here, Shane. How many times?
No, you have weird things like you deep fried bloody Mars bars.
No,
They
I
do
don't.
that here too. It's weird.
Yeah,
That's not
cream eggs.
normal.
Cream eggs, like deep fried cream eggs.
Deep fried cream
That's
eggs?
disgusting.
I know.
Why would you do that?
What does this even look? Oh my god, it's actually a thing. Oh my god, is this an Australian site? No, it's not. Okay. There we go.
It
was definitely not a
Scottish. It can only be
Oh
Scottish.
wait. Nope, never mind. 9 News did a whole article on it. It actually does exist here. People in Australia have actually done that.
What else do you, Steve? You guys actually take a pizza and literally batter it and deep fry it as well.
No
Pizza
comment.
crunch.
He's like, how did they know what I had for dinner last night?
It's like the heart rate. Is there like the heart attack rate in Scotland like really high?
No comment.
Or is it because like after you've ate all that junk, you clear it out with some iron brew?
No, they're from Scotch, man. Obviously.
No, iron brew is like the national drink for Scotland.
Really?
It's yeah, I do like iron brew, I must admit, but but they have it on cornflakes and stuff.
On cornflakes. I'm gonna.
You know by the way he's going to
That's not a thing. I'm telling you right now, that's not a thing.
Nikki's gonna wake up. She's gonna walk out and see me eating cornflakes with iron brew in it. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm telling you, it's a Scottish delicacy. You have to trust me on this. It's totally normal."
Crazy.
Poor Steve.
I know, poor me. Right, so Nick, you brought up the other half, Nicole. So you got engaged this year, yep. Congratulations on that.
Technically last year.
Was it last year?
December 27th.
Oh, you let it slip this year after it's all done and dusted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we also have a question along these lines. So how did you chat this lady up? What was your go-to mic drop line for Nicole?
There actually wasn't one.
What?
Yeah, no.
You didn't drop the Willy magic?
She actually made an Instagram story of showing like her little brother, like one of the DRL videos with me tagged in it, and then tagged me in it, but you didn't realize that it was actually, an Instagram you tag someone on a story actually sends it to their inbox. And she didn't realize it was going to send it to my inbox. And it did. And I responded to it, and we just started chatting after that. And things escalated, and she's already planning to come to America later on that year. And I was like, oh, you just swing by Atlanta and see how that works out. And it's all worked out perfectly. It is
so far.
Yeah. It's
give it time.
It was looking back on it was definitely crazy. Like the thought of it, like, hey, random lady on the other side of the world, how about you just come over and just live with me for fun and see if it works out? And it did. I feel like I won the lottery. I think that never happens.
Happens to some people, dude. Happens to some people. Shane's like, really?
No.
Right.
I have no comment on mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't that easy.
So, Nick, have you got the stream up on your screen?
I do have it on my Zipper right now.
So I'm going to chuck something on the
Actually,
screen.
how do I? Oh, here's the chat.
You just have to wait 30 seconds for the latency.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay, but hopefully we'll.
All right, I'll wait.
So we have this thing called the BSL. It's a bitch slap leaderboard. So
I was about to say nothing comes good from an acronym like that.
I know. So we do this thing. We get a guest on and we ask them, anyone in the FPV community, if you could just bitch slap someone for being awesome or lazy or just, you really want to give them a bitch slap. Who would that person be? You only get one shot.
Oh.
One shot.
Does it have to be someone on this list?
No, you can pick your own. That's the beauty of it.
Man, that's hard.
So you
Who's
see,
Drone Warship? What is that?
so we had a guest on during the week called Original Dobo. He does tech reviews and he's recently got into FPV stuff. So one of the guys that he knows, Drone Warship, a guy called Dan, he nominated him for a bitch slap. So he goes on the board.
I'm surprised Kappa's not like way off the top. Yeah, I'm honest.
See, a lot of it I feel like is slapping for the irony, though.
Who is
People would probably want to slap him just to slap him, I feel like.
Yeah.
See, I lean more on the ends of the ironic slap. You know what? Part of me, I think I would say Vanover. Because one, it would be utterly hilarious. And two, I would love to extend his lead. I really want to make sure he wins this by the end of it.
By a large margin.
Yeah, exactly. I want to get that margin up there.
I kind of feel if he did slap him, he'd just like crying and run to his mum because he's still that young.
Honestly, I would love to just see. I would do it just to see the reaction. I feel like everyone else, I kind of have like an idea of how they would respond.
Mm-hmm.
Vanover is just a loose cannon, man. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, okay. So another one for Vanover.
Josh.
I need to keep tabs of this and make sure he wins by the end of it.
I don't think we've
So if he
ever.
wins,
I don't think
if he
we've ever
wins,
set a
everyone
date
voted for him.
for a winner.
What you should do is just contact the winner and ask them if everyone who voted for them can then bitch slap them.
For
That's
real.
the prize for winning.
The loser
had
gets
him on.
bitch slapped.
We had him on, didn't we? We had Vanover on.
Yeah, we did.
Who did he vote for on that list? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Did he vote for himself so he could try and win?
Slap himself.
No,
Steel. He voted for Steel.
Did he?
Did he vote for Steel?
Yeah, he did because Steel voted him on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they should just bitch slap each other. Get that tension out, you know.
Didn't somebody on Road to Riot actually do a slow-mo slap with Chad Nowak? Isn't that a thing?
Yes, I think that was
it
a
was
thing.
David Vindenstall.
That was it. Oh, I forgot about Vindestall, man. He was awesome. He was like one of the very first people like an RC that I ever watched. I miss him so much. His content was amazing.
Helicopter guy.
The rocket knife that had me. Rocket knife!
Yeah, the rocket knife. I remember that. I remember that was crazy. That was like back when the hot knife was a thing, and he was like, screw hot knife, I'm going rocket knife.
Yeah.
He just had to like try and one up them. And I was like, oh, this is awesome, but then it like never really took off. And I was like, what?
The best thing from the rocket knife was when it blew off.
He's like, now it's just rocket.
Yeah.
Rocket. Oh,
So
I'm trying to go on.
Go on. No, Shane, you go.
No, go on. Mine's a silly question anyway.
Ask it. Ask
No.
away.
No, go on. I'll save it for later.
Here, I have a question. Do you have enough folders up on your far left monitor?
Those are emojis.
That's really all I meant to say. I was like, oh god, I thought that was that was folders. I was
throw that bad boy,
dude. Oh, there we go.
That's just my download folder.
Oh god. I'm like super anal with like my file organization, and that just gives me anxiety looking at that.
All right, mate, let me clean it up. All right, there's my desktop. There you go. Look.
There we go. There we go. I like that. I like that.
But
I make sure that
if it stresses you out, I'll put it back. It's fine.
Whatever you do, don't screen share out.
Is it better if I put it in like detail form? So it's just a list?
Oh, there we go. I like the detail. There we go.
There's an awful.
Now you look
lot-
like Hacker Man.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of MP3s there. be honest. Oh, there's some firmwares floating around there.
No, there-
There's some DJI firmware.
Some random .bin files.
Yeah, there's some DJI firmware there. There's some Betaflight firmware there. There's some KISS firmware there. There's another KISS one there. Oh, I don't know what that is.
Bank passwords.
No.
Where's the where's the pin number?
Right at the top.
Woo! Right at the top where it needs to
Actually,
be.
it's fourth from the top. There's some MP3s
I'll
above
take
it.
fourth. I'll take fourth.
So Nick, talking of firmwares, right? You exclusively fly Falco X at the minute, yeah?
Absolutely. Have been for like 3 years now or
Yeah,
so.
about 3 years, yeah. So what did you use before that? We'll get into the Falco X stuff shortly, but what did you prefer before the
So
race flight one stuff?
So, well, as every FPV pilot in 2016 started off flying, I started off with Clean Flight.
Mhm.
And I flew that for a while, then moved into Beta Flight, and I was never really happy. I mean, this is back in like Beta Flight, like 2.4 days, like way back when. Yeah, exactly. I was never really happy with it, and then I actually found out, everyone started flying KISS back in the day, and so I actually jumped on the KISS hype train. And the problem was that I got on KISS and I loved it. It was absolutely incredible how it flew. But it was so freaking expensive that I just couldn't afford to deck everything out with KISS. So I had like a weird half KISS, half Beta flight going on for a while. And then right around when the very first Flight 1 build dropped, I actually moved over to Flight 1 exclusively. I tried Race Flight back on the first dev boards that they tried, and it was good, but I was like, I don't want to, like, it's not so good. I'm gonna, like, rip all the flight controllers out of my quads and put them in, and like, this is the best thing ever. But once the actual, like, official Flight 1 build rolled around, it was actually Schizo who was like, dude, you gotta try this. And I was like, dude, I like my KISS stuff, I'm like, I've got it. The Beta Flight stuff I could probably get rid of, but man, I really like the KISS builds that I've got. They fly great. I surprisingly had no issues on most of them. And he was like, I'm telling you, you gotta fly this new Flight 1 stuff. You gotta fly it. And he was like, come over and I'll get you set up with the flight controller. I'll even install it in your quad. I'll show you how to set it up. So I went over, and oh my God, it was like the biggest and most ridiculous shit show to get it set up I've ever had. And it turned out that the problem was that he thought he bricked the ESCs because he would plug in and the flight controller would boot up, but there'd be no ESC tones. So many frustrated calls to Preston later. I'm like, what about that battery? I'm like, that battery you're using, is that even like a charged battery? It was like a 4S battery. Put it up on the multimeter, 4.8 volts. The whole battery. And so we went and got a fresh battery, plugged it in after like 4 hours of trying to figure out, like, about to go out and buy an Arduino to try and flash these ESCs back to unbrick them. Because we thought they're brick because they won't make any boot up tones. Plug a fresh battery in, everything was fine. Went right through the setup, everything worked. Called Preston. Hey dude, yeah, it was dead battery. Sorry for the anger calls, bye. And yeah, I flew it, and it was even the first one back in the day, especially comparing to Beta Flight, like back then, I was blown away. So I started slowly moving the fleet out, and eventually ended up exclusively flying it.
Sweet. So, did you have any part in the board layout for the H7 stuff that's coming out?
No, not in the layout. The layout and everything was basically exclusively done by Dominic.
I guess that makes sense. Mr. Clean Flight himself,
Yeah. The layout is tricky. There was a lot of, like, physical things to fit on a very tiny board. And so it was a lot of things kind of really only had one home and the one place I could end up going. So I'm really really happy with how it turned out at this point. So
Cool. So, you have had a hand in the AI filtering for the new H7 stuff.
yep, I did the whole thing.
The whole
Was
thing?
the whole thing. It was a journey. Oh my god, it was a journey.
Any information you can share to
Yeah,
unlock
you
some
should go in.
secrets?
You just hit, turn it on, put it on enable, and then go rip.
Yes,
That's all you gotta do.
you enable Cerebro, right? 1.0. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1.0 right now. I mean, I've got a list on my monitor of like all these crazy upgrades to do it and ways to make it better. Especially because I was like, well, everything's AI based, everything's got to be trained, kind of like on a per quad basis sort of deal.
Mhm.
Which, well, we can't train it on everyone's individual quads. So we gotta
Yeah,
get
because
like
there's
a
different
baseline.
harmonics for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get like a baseline kind of going with essentially how it decides like good versus bad data.
Mhm.
And then we use a lot of post processing as well. That's pretty CPU intense. Um, so that was also a journey getting that to even. I mean, H7's a powerhouse, but like man, some of the stuff in the AI filter, like when I very first started to run it, because I was more on like I guess like the physics engineering side of things and not too well versed like in when it comes like the embedded systems development, like the actual like microcontroller level like optimizations and stuff like that. And so I kind of was like the initial kind of getting it to even run properly was a lot of back and forth between me and PG3 of being like, hey, I need this, this, and this to run this, this, and this. And when I run it, the flight controller is at 700% CPU usage and just crashes and almost catches on fire. So we need to find a way to somehow bring that down so it'll actually work. And we did a bunch of optimizations on it and got it down to a very reasonable level as of now. So it works on the H7, and I tried to actually get it to work on the older of the Revolt and Millivolt OSDs, and it would like literally just freeze the flight controller. It like wouldn't even boot up.
Yeah.
It was just the whole CPU was just completely maxed out, and I was like, well, no need to try and even support that stuff anyways, is my theory at this point. Always working up.
So it's only available on the H7 chips now, yeah, due to the CPU utilization.
Yeah.
How does it compare in terms of the Betaflight's equivalent, the dynamic notch filtering? Is it the same, or is it more advanced, or in your opinion?
It is most definitely more advanced, but comparing it to dynamic notch is like comparing apples and oranges. It's a completely different thing.
Okay.
I would say compared to the dynamic notch, it definitely does a much better job than solely the dynamic notch does. That's not to say the dynamic notch is pointless and useless, but it has its drawbacks, and a lot of the actual like AI, like more of the machine learning side of things, allows us to be a little bit better at, essentially you just want to make sure you've got the data that you think is good and the data that's not good, and a whole bunch of post processing with stuff in the background to even try and estimate what you think it should be, what you don't think it should be. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. A lot of motors were fried in the process of testing it, like going out and flying it. Like, okay, it flies fine normally. Let me just take the wire cutters and snip a prop off and see if it'll keep flying. Go in and then earlier on before in the development builds it wouldn't work right and instantly just fry a motor. And I'm like, well, I guess that didn't work. Let's go back to the drawing board and start again.
How many motors did you kill in the process of testing?
Man. Probably say about 5 or 6 in total.
I was expecting a good high number. I don't know why.
Well, I've never fried a motor except in testing for this. So going through like 6 in 2 months is 6 more than I've been through in like 6 years. So it was quite the journey. Although to be fair, though, a lot of my testing I did on old, like really old, like Banggood motors, because so I didn't feel really bad burning up a lot of those. Because a lot of the testing is to make sure that with really janky, noisy setups, that we can still get them to fly right. So if I put it on my pristine, clean builds, I'm like, oh, it works. I'm like, well, yeah, of course it's gonna work. Anything's gonna work on that. So I have a whole I have like the jankiest development quad put together to make sure that like even on the jankiest stuff that everything still works fine.
That's kind of what you want, though, isn't it? You want the worst setup possible, and then throw your AI filtering at it and see how well it does. Yeah.
Exactly. That's been what most of the training has been on, is the jank setups.
So when you're testing this out, are you testing it with the quote unquote supplied gummies, or are you using long stack steel screws, or are you doing bobbins? Are you doing all that testing, or?
The only testing I do is long stack screws with the supplied gummies, because that is something you should always do. Long stack screws and the gummies that come in the box is like there's no reason not to do that. It is by far the best way to mount it.
That's fair enough. I mean, a lot of people have their own way of building quads and stuff. So some people use short gummies, short bobbins off the ESCs to mount the flight controller on top. Some people use the long stack screws.
I mean, ESCs can fit gummies too, so just put the gummies in the ESC, and boom, throw a 20 mil screw up through that, and there you go. Just slip the ESC on, slip the flight controller on. You don't even need a nut on top of it, because the gummies keep it in check.
Yeah, they're quite.
I feel like the bobbins were, like I feel like that's like a 2017 way of building. But now that everything comes with gummies, there's no need to have bobbins anymore, I feel like.
Oh, fair enough.
So, yeah, every ESC I mount has gummies on it these days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So are you one of those, Shane? Do you use the long stack screws to mount your gear?
Yeah.
I do.
Is this where someone comes out and secretly tells us that they still use bobbins? They're like, oh yeah, I still use bobbins. Probably change that up. Sitting there on eBay ordering some 20 mil screws right now.
Hold on. Yeah, I use the little bobbins, hard mount the ESC. I file out the mounting holes so there's kind of a little bit of play. Then I use the short bobbins, mounting the flight controller on top of that, and that does
man, you gotta use the long stack screws. If you use the gummies on the ESC, it actually makes the ESC last longer too. You get a lot more life out of them.
You take all the vibration and the impact actually out of the ESC as well.
Exactly. Well, a lot of it is because when you tighten the ESC down, the ESC is hard mounted. When you get into a crash, the whole frame flexes, and then that flexing gets transferred to the ESC. And if there's no gummies, no place for the ESC to move around, you're literally just, let's take your ESC, this nice little PCB with microscopic components. Let's just take it and just bend it with some pliers. Like you wouldn't go do that normally and then put it on the quad and fly it. So like the gummies do a huge deal in making the longevity of your ESCs a bit better.
I'm literally just checking all my quads on the wall now to see how I've mounted them all.
I'm the same. I'm just thinking which ones have got what.
Exactly.
The only frame I've got that doesn't have long screws through the base all the way up through the stack is my Alien, because it's got that is vintage, that frame. It's got the steel PDB.
Oh man!
And then you got the really short stacks for the KISS FC.
Oh, it's weird. I actually read somewhere that the KISS flight controllers need to be hard mounted. So I actually flew with a guy yesterday, who still flies KISS. Didn't know those people still existed, but I was looking at his build, and he had the you guys don't count.
Why? Because we're not in Australia.
2020, man. But yeah, I was looking at it, and he had the plastic bobbins hard mounted on his KISS flight controller. And this was, they keep in mind, this isn't even FetTech. This is like, this is a 2016 KISS flight controller this guy's got on it.
Oh,
Like a
V1
And I'm like,
stuff. Yeah.
what? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, it's hard mounted. I'm like, why don't you like, shouldn't you soft mount? He's like, nah, man, you can't soft mount them. The KISS flight controllers have to be hard mounted. And I'm like, in a time travel machine back to 2016, it feels like. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is like, you should put this on a wall. You shouldn't even be flying this. You should put it go in a museum.
Mhm.
It
So-
it is hard mounted,
There it is. I knew it was coming.
but the bobbins are the rubber ones. They're the rubber ones with the
The O-rings.
so they flex, don't they?
So is it like the ones where like the whole thing? It's like a rubber bobbin with like a metal insert in the bottom and then a metal insert on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried those for the longest time, and I had the absolute worst oscillations in my entire life running those bobbins. And I had one crash in the little metal insert that's like stuck inside around the rubber bobbiny part.
Mhm.
All four ripped out and sent the flight controller like down the road. And I was like, well, I'm never using those ever again. It was like 3 days of troubleshooting, and like the whole thing ripped to pieces. And I was like, I'm going back to stack screws.
Oh no, this thing is like my favorite go-to quad. It's just I've had it for so long, and I've just put DJI on it, so it's had a couple of changes. It's a KISS V2 flight controller, but the ESCs are out on the arms because it's the little 25 amp ones.
I was actually having a conversation with someone today, and I was thinking, I really have this feeling that in the next like year or two, we're gonna go back to individual ESCs.
Yeah, love it.
I have this feeling that eventually we're gonna head back to individual ESCs because 4-in-1's like, I don't know, it's just a lot of stuff to pack into like a little tiny board. Like the individual ESCs,
you blow one ESC, you have to replace it with 4.
that is also another component about it. You burn one, the whole thing has to get replaced. I don't see a lot of ESCs burn up these days, but it's just more like electrically speaking, like it's is most of what I see these days is just like electrical more than the ESC. That's like add more capacitors, add an LC filter, yada yada yada. And I'm like, but the individual ESCs, have such better time than electrical noise. They're way less noisy than having it on all together in one. And I think if we come up with like an easy way to have like an ESC that like plugs into like a PDB, and the PDB just has a harness that goes into the flight controller. It's just like, change the flight controller out, plug it out, plug a new one in. Same dealio. It's not like back in the day where you had to like solder up 3,000 wires to get your individual ESC hooked up. And I was like, nah, that's the reason I went to 4-in-1. So I was like, I get 2 ESCs done, and I'm like, I gotta go have a nap, man. I can't solder any more wires.
Yeah, because you've got your 3 motor wires into the individual ESC one side, and then you've got all those wires onto the PDB on the next side, and then you got the harness lead into your flight controller.
Yeah, and then you start cutting like the signal lines. Like, oh, my signal line's too short because I moved this ESC from the front left arm to the back right arm, and the way the pads are laid out, it doesn't reach. Now I'm like extending the signal wires, and I'm like, oh.
Fair enough. I know a lot of people have issues with not specifically with the Flight 1 stuff, but just in general, with the 4-in-1 ESCs. The harness cables, some harness cables come from the manufacturer incorrectly pinned, so they're just like literally plugging them in and frying their ESC straight away.
Oh yeah, there's or like the big one is people who just plug it in because they don't check the pinouts.
Mm-hmm.
I see that every single day. I wake up literally to like at least one message a day. Help me, my flight controller caught on fire. And I look at it, and it's just like power and ground. You sent like 26 volts right to a motor line, and I'm like, well, that will do it. I'm like, yeah, but the cable came with the ESC, and I'm like, but that doesn't mean it matches up with the flight controller. Just because it comes with it doesn't. Not all flight controllers have the exact same pin out.
Mm-hmm.
People just plug them. People just think everything if it's got a plug. Well, I'm just gonna plug it in and go.
Yeah. So here's a tip, folks. Check your pinouts.
Check your pinouts. Oh, I felt so bad because there's a local Australian guy, the first one to get his H7. He like literally like drove out to my house to pick it up when they came in, and he like went home. He's like, "Oh, I'm so excited to solder up. I'm so excited to go." And like 5 minutes later, I get a photo of just like, I mean, it literally looks like he put his H7 in the furnace. And I'm like, oh God, this is not going to be good. What happened? And he was like, I didn't read the pin out, and I put the battery leads on backwards and flip power and ground. And I was like, oh no. I felt so bad. I know. I was
Nick, when did somebody light that candle behind you?
It's been lit like for, I don't know, 3-4 hours.
Oh, really? I literally just noticed it. I was just like, oh, voodoo.
He's scanning your room.
Yeah. He's looking for like any little tips and tricks going on back there.
Yeah.
Here,
looking for
take a look.
There's
Nah,
got to be
nothing
some
weird.
weird shit hanging around.
See, there is, but it's all about the camera angle.
That's it. So, Dan, you had a question earlier, didn't you?
Have we lost
Yeah,
him?
I did have a question. I've got another question and all. The first one. No, it's just my Wi-Fi. Just my Wi-Fi, isn't it? Why the juicy flying style?
Like, why is it called that, or why do I do it?
Why do you do it?
I just think it's fun. I think it looks awesome. You know, it's just, I try and fly other ways, but if I'm going out to fly just for fun, it's just kind of what I instinctively do. You know, it's kind of like if I just turn my brain off and just fly, just what comes out at this point. You know, it's I've tried. I actually tried yesterday. One of the guys I was flying with, the guy who has the Ancient Kiss set up, he was telling me how he's like, I let him fly the Falco X rig that I have with the H7, and he was like, oh, I was like, what's your rates? Let me try if I convert them, put them in. He's like, oh, I fly like 1,000 degrees per second. And I'm like, I fly like 400, 450. I can't even imagine what 1,000's like. And I actually was like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. So I flew with 1,000 degrees per second with his rates. And I was like going, just flipping around, flipping through trees, like just aggressively flying as fast as I can. It's like, wah, 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 wah. And I was like, wow, this is actually so fun. Like, kind of like go out like on a limb and just do something different. But yeah, you know, it's weird. Like when I actually kind of like try and fly and actively think how to fly differently, it's fun. But if I'm like out, I just plug a battery in, I put the goggles on, and I go. It's just like, you know, the juicy style is sort of just what happens. There's not a lot of like forethought in it. And it's funny because like when I go home and I look at footage, you know, I realize like my brain was like turned off the entire time because I'm watching it back. I'm like, I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff.
So, Nick, got a question from the chat here.
Let's see.
What's the link with you and dolphins?
They're amazing. That's obviously it. It was kind of sort of the same deal as the Wild Willy name. I think I used it like in a video a long time ago. Because like it was like the first vlog that I did. I censored myself with the dolphin noise, like from SpongeBob. And then everyone just was like, "Oh, it's hilarious! That's so funny you did that." I'm like, "It's from SpongeBob, guys." Like, I just picked it up from that. And they're like, "You're the dolphin guy, the guy with the dolphin noises." And it, you know, kind of was like a joke at first, and then it actually kind of just stuck and became a thing. And I was like, "Well, I guess dolphins are the thing now."
Sorry, my neighbours at the back, they have a dog and a cat, and every morning they sit in the window. There's a really, really small cat and a dirty, great husky dog. And they literally sit in the window just looking it out, looking up and down the street like nosy neighbours.
They're staring at you.
They are there just now. I thought I had to get a photo.
Madman.
Because it is legendary. Hang on a minute. You can go to see this. I'm going to have to focus my camera and everything for this.
I'm telling you, they're plotting the revolt against you. They're waiting for the right time to strike.
Yeah, damn right they are.
They're observing your lifestyle when you're home, when you're gone.
Taking notes.
Exactly.
They are choosing the right moment to decide when they can come in and mess my cat up.
Yeah, exactly. Got to claim as much territory as they can.
Let's be honest, my cat is an asshole. He's ginger and he's mad.
I feel like all ginger cats are mad.
Nick, what frame are you flying currently?
The Dolphin 1 frame, man.
Dolphin 1 from Flight 1.
Yeah,
I don't know an awful lot about frames from Flight 1. I don't. Because what
Dolphin
did you
1's
fly
way to
back
go.
in the day? When you
Back in the day,
when you were in uni and you used to go out flying with Stingy and all that, what were you flying?
Oh, Dolphin 1.
Really?
Yeah,
No,
I've been flying that for like 3 years.
It's like
2 years, 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah,
it's like 2-3 years.
Yeah,
But
2
before
years.
that,
the QAVR.
the QAVR was my jam.
Yeah.
But it was the V1 QAVR, and the crucial mod was doing 2 top plates because they were so thin and they were so poorly designed that the second you touch something, they would just snap like a twig.
Yeah.
So you double up the top plates. Well, you take a bunch of super glue and you put it on one top plate and screw the second top plate to it, and literally like a vice with the screws, sandwich them together. And then the other crucial mod that I did was to run the 6-inch arms on it, because it flew so much better with the 6-inch arms compared to the 5-inch arms.
I did actually have a QAVR, and I crashed it once. We were flying in a forest, and I hit a tree and it dropped to the floor. And when I went over to pick it up, the entire front end where the camera plates and all that were.
Oh, the whole front just came off.
Yeah, it just came off completely from the frame.
You got to have the double top plate mod, man. I'm telling you. See, you fell victim to it.
I did. It was an epic crash, but it was. I was just like,
yeah, dude. I
came back and went, "Where's my camera?"
Dude, the amount of times I walk up to my quad, I'm like, "Oh, the front fell off. Fantastic!" Like it was so common of a thing to happen when I first started flying it.
Now a line of sight quad.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, you know what? Because specifically of the problem with the front falling off, I actually had the whole front eject. And what I decided to do was, I was like, all right, well, since there's no front anymore, I actually rotated the whole quad sideways. And so rather than being like an H quad, I turned it into a stretched X racing frame.
Wow.
And it actually, I used that. That's what I raced with for the longest time. I had just so many I actually just took a Dremel and I cut the back end off. And I just used like the middle portion.
Yeah.
Rotated the internals 90 degrees, and that was a stretched X racing frame. And I literally ran that for like 2 years. In every race I did.
Jesus Christ.
I just used like my plethora of broken top plates and bottom plates, cut the back end off, rotated it, and it was good to go. There you go. Racing frame.
Because the QAV frames are still going.
They are. I actually saw someone post that, like, what is it, the QAVR V2 or QAVR2? Something like that.
I've got
whichever one
QAVS.
they're on.
I've got the new
QAVS, QAVSR, QAVSR2, QAVBSL.
QAVS.
QVS, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I saw someone post it, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know this stuff's still going on.
Not gonna lie, that looks like the.
Was it the Johnny frame?
Yeah, it looks like the Johnny frame. This one.
It does a bit. It's cheaper than the Johnny frame, then.
Yeah. that's what it is. It's just a cheaper Johnny frame.
Because it doesn't have his name on it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I haven't tried Falco or H7 flight control yet because my stock's not here.
I'm dying to try one.
It's if you have an order in, technically it should be out by now on the way.
No, it's on the way.
Don't get Shane started.
It's like, I've been talking to Preston and a couple of other guys from Flight 1, and it's literally on the slowest boat in the world.
Yep. Man, that channel is pretty hard to cross. I gotta admit.
No, they're only coming from France.
Yeah, that channel, man. You know how it takes forever.
You make it sound like it's coming from the States still.
Nah. The English channel, man. I'm telling you, they probably put a dude swimming to come over and deliver to you.
Oh no, I've got all the tracking numbers and everything, and I check them every day. And as of this morning, they have now left France and on the way to the UK.
The French postage likes to take the time.
Yeah, it did, because like literally they said, oh, they sent the tracking number, and I literally sat there for a couple of. Well, I didn't sit at the computer for like 3 whole days or anything. But when I checked
like
it was
72 hours, just sitting there, just like F5, 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 F5.
and it just like it didn't go anywhere for 3 days. And I'm like, they're like, oh, we've got your tracking information, and then we're preparing to receive your parcel. And then we've received your parcel, and we're preparing to ship your parcel. I'm like, oh my god, just send it already.
Yeah, there's only one. There's only one dude in the postal service there, right? He's just sat there. He's got 1 billion packages. Like, right, okay, update. Well,
I just imagine him sitting with a glass of wine, just being like looking at a box of packages, hundreds of packages. He's like, I'll get to it eventually.
If we delay this one just a little bit longer, do you reckon it'll wind him up?
Yeah, exactly. I get paid by the hour, guys. I'll just sit and chill.
Oh no! I mean, I literally, my parcel is, it's all the new SCs. It's the H7 flight controllers. And if I'm right, if I remember right from yesterday, people have got pre-orders for their flight controller with me, and there is one available out of all of them on the way. That I have a list long of people who have paid and are waiting for it, but there is one free out of that entire shipment, and then they're all gone into the next shipment.
Wait till you see my list. Oh man, but I'm excited because we actually have half of a new batch coming in. Like, what is today? Saturday. Next week they got shipped out today, I think, from the factory. So
where's the factory?
Currently this batch is being half China, half US, but we're still figuring the US logistics out. That one. The flight controllers have been done for like 2 weeks, but we've been trying to get the factory on board because we did the first batch. We did all the flashing, all the QC. Like, we literally just got like the raw PCBs, still like their big sheets with like 10 PCBs connected together. That's what they got basically and sent out to us. So all the QC and flashing and all that packaging was done basically at Preston's house. So now we're trying to get the factory, teach them how to do all that part. So they just send us essentially the finished product in the baggies and ready to go. But wow, it is crazy trying to just get like even the slightest like logistical changes done. Like, the language barrier has proven to be very difficult in terms of teaching them how to flash. I feel like it's been like a week that we just keep logging into their computers trying to figure out why their things aren't flashing things right. So we're kind of just like, all right, just send it to us. We're tired of trying. We just want to get this stuff out.
Yeah.
So,
it'd be nice
there's
I'll finally see them next week. It'd be nice to see them.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the day that the company like, yeah, we got everything, we're good to go, and then it can just be smooth sailing from then on out.
If anybody emails me with any support questions for Flight 1, I'm just going to forward them to Nick.
Yep, exactly.
I'll make your list so long.
Or get yourself in the Flight 1 Discord. Support is always available there.
Yes, I feel like I need to check the Discord more often, man. I really, really feel like I need to. I just feel like I spend most of my time actually people just messaging me for support.
Mm-hmm.
But I always forget to like go check elsewhere.
Yeah, just drive them to the Discord channel, and there's plenty of people there that can help out.
And the Facebook group,
from my experience, anyway.
Yeah, the Facebook group I'd say is probably the best place for support because that is the most actively checked by us. Mainly because I get notifications when people post it right to my phone. It's like, oh, dang, someone's got a problem.
Nick Preston.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there any older Flight 1 flight controllers that you shouldn't put Falco X on?
Anything with Flight 1 on it can. I mean, maybe like the very first race flight, like the Revo.
Yeah, the
Revo. It wasn't even a Flight 1 before. No, not even the Revolt. The Revo.
The Revo, yeah.
It was I don't even know who made it. It was back like the dev boards for race flight,
Mhm.
back before race flight even was the thing. No, anything that has the race flight name or the flight one name on it will work. AquaX we put on all those, and they'll pretty much be infinitely supported at this point. There's no point to ever not support them.
Okay, update. Dead Zone in the chat has just pre-ordered a H7 flight controller, so that last one has gone. That entire
Damn it,
shit
Dead
has
Zone.
gone.
You shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said that, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Like the H7s, it's like crack cocaine, man. You get like, like the second that someone's like, "Hey, man, you got any of those lightnings? Got some of those lightnings sitting around? Can I get one?"
Just
Yeah.
one more FC guy.
Let me have a sniff.
Seriously.
Let me sniff it.
Exactly.
Oh dear. So I've updated the website. So where it was now pre-order, it now just says out of stock. So that one has gone. Sorry.
Shane, you need another order, dude.
Yeah, we're not getting into that conversation.
Yeah.
No,
So-
I'm not yet.
So Nick, which motors are you running? You still running the pink ones that you usually do?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The dolphin motors, or the
Yeah.
Wild Willy dolphin motors. Are they the dolphin motors? Or are they the juice? I have totally forgotten the name of my motors.
Yeah, same here. They're
everything of
pink.
yours is dolphin juice.
Because it doesn't say. Is it the special juice, or is it the dolphin, or is it the dolphin special juice?
That sounds slightly wrong.
Is it though?
You need to change it up. You need to like do a random motor, but call it something else.
Not a bad idea. Special juice. So that is not right. They were supposed to be the special sauce. But somehow, somewhere in translation, they got, oh my god, I forgot to go to the product page. It plays a dolphin noise. That just freaked me out. It was supposed to be the special sauce motors, and somehow they got the special juice. I'm like, oh, that's it. I guess that's what they are called now.
You need to do something different. Like you could do the Wild Willy Octopus Special Ink.
The what?
They're just naming sea creatures now.
Well, we're just naming sea creatures, so we can have the Wild Willy Octopus Ink.
We could. Technically, that is a valid name. I could probably put on something.
Ink's better than juice.
Is it? Do you wake up and have a glass of orange ink in the morning?
Yeah, but Shane, it's the juicy flying. That's why it
Oh.
works.
Can we not
Exactly.
have inky flying?
Flying. Yeah,
Floppy
exactly.
flying.
Inky flying.
That flying is so inky.
Because
I think I get taken out of context real quickly.
does anybody else use like the juicy flying? Are there any other celebs that claim to have the juicy flow?
Johnny?
Oh, Schizo.
Schizo. Yeah.
No, I don't think Schizo doesn't. Schizo's got his own thing.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah,
his.
Kelsey knows. Kelsey's a big fan of Schizo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everyone makes it out as if I'm obsessed. I'd fly the frame, like, chill.
We've always threatened Kelsey that if Schizo's ever on the show, she's hosting it. She's asking the
But
question.
I'm way too awkward to host it. It'll be bad if I host it.
Oh, it's fine. Schizo will pull you through. He's a good guy.
She'll just be like massively red throughout the whole show.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
You
I
can see
want
it.
to talk about the what is it, astrophotography that he does.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I do like his astrophotography.
So
I always wanted to get into that stuff.
I want to study astrophysics at university, so that's
There you go.
interesting.
Nick, what did you study at uni?
Aerospace engineering.
Right, okay. Because I have a real fear of interviewing people that are really smart.
Well, don't worry. You do not need to be fearful. I can guarantee.
One day, I'm going to have to interview Gab.
Oh, yeah.
That guy is just like he's like a home professor, isn't he?
Yeah. He's got his doctor. He got his PhD in I think it was chemical engineering. It was really cool. His master's thesis was actually really sick.
So basically, he had to write his own thesis, and then he had to stand in front of a panel of professors and prove that his thesis was right, and they were going to argue with him, like 6-on-1.
Yeah,
and
it was crazy. It was like God, I can't remember what it was about.
And
it was about like
he won that as
it was,
well.
it was about the actual the physical chemistry going on at the atomic level of I forgot what the reaction was.
Dark matter or something.
But no, it was because I was with him when he was writing a lot of it. This is, he was doing his master's thesis. Yeah.
Flux capacitor.
Can we create a black hole with my flux capacitor? That's how we're gonna get everyone to Mars.
He's standing there holding two red wires. Watch this. Boom.
I just feel like if I interview Gav and just literally just ask him a question, and then the reply will just kind of melt my brain. Is where I'm going with that.
No, you'll be fine.
Eyes all glazed over and what?
Yeah. Because I was speaking to Jet about him, and he was just like, "No, don't worry, he's really cool. He's like a rock dude as well, so he's really cool." And I was just like, "Yeah, but he's gonna say something. I don't know what he was gonna
crazy.
do."
It's crazy because I didn't realize it was just a weird thing I came across. So I used to play. Well, I guess typically I still sort of play guitar, but I used to play a lot of guitar, and I was really into progressive metal and stuff like that. But I'd never met anyone else who was into it. And then one day, Gab was like, "Oh, I play guitar too." And he started playing some progressive metal bands I listened to. I was like, "What?" I was like, "I didn't know that anyone else listened to those people. And you can shred like they do too. That's crazy."
Oh man, there needs to be.
He's really good. He's really good. Gab is I would probably say the best guitarist I've ever met in person. He's incredible. He's so talented.
Oh, look out! Steve's batteries run out on his camera.
Oh no!
I'm coming back. I'm back.
He's got a spare.
Exactly. Plugging the 4S into that. Get that overcharge.
Problem is, me and Steve are both using SLRs as webcams.
Yeah.
And even though they're USB plugged in, the Canon ones have no way of charging them whilst you're using them.
Canon junk. You gotta get that Sony, man.
Need them doll hairs.
Yeah.
So, Nick, when's the big day? When are you getting married?
That is a fantastic question that we don't have a good answer. We don't have a date planned. It has been an absolutely crazy year, especially with coronavirus, especially when it comes to everything we have to do has to be done through some international visa, dealing with immigration and stuff like that. And with coronavirus, it has been so incredibly complicated that we're waiting for the coronavirus stuff to die down. Right now, even if we had a wedding, for example, the borders are closed in Australia. No one can get in, no one can get out. So we can't really do that. If we were to get married, she couldn't even go back to the US at this point right now. So we are waiting for Corona to die down and for things to kind of start going back to normal before we start planning. Because there's no point in planning and then realize that sorry, there's restrictions. No one can come. Too bad. So sad.
I heard an interview the other day on the radio, and apparently they all agreed that coronavirus weddings are the best thing ever.
What? Oh, I actually heard someone on the radio say that too.
Yeah.
They're saying it can just because they have to be so small, you don't have to invite any of the people
absolutely.
you don't like.
So all your wedding gifts arrive by post from people you don't even have to see or meet.
Interesting.
You don't have to pay thousands of pounds to feed everybody at the wedding.
See, even before this, we decided we're going to keep it small. We're not going to buy the people we don't like.
Yeah, see, I said that. Me and my wife said that.
That's what every time I tell someone, they're like, "Oh, we said the same thing." That's what everyone says.
And then literally 20 grand later, we're getting married.
Yeah.
Minimum.
What the living beans was all that about?
Yeah.
It went from let's just hire a small room and then we end up hiring an entire fort. I kid you not. There's a place in Plymouth called Crown Hill Fort, and it is literally an old fort, and the like the evening meal and that was underground in an old ammunition bunker and things like that. It was crazy.
Oh wow!
But yeah. So yeah, we'll spend a couple of thousand on a wedding. Yeah, 20 later.
The great part is that one of us gets to weed out all the people we don't like by being like, oh, sorry, the wedding's overseas. Can't invite international people in.
The best argument you will ever have is when you come to do your table layouts.
Yep. That's the worst one.
Who sits with who
Yeah.
hates who's going to fight with who,
And who sits on the kids' table?
I'll take the kids' table. That's my favorite table to be at.
In your words, that's the sort of table planning that will get juicy.
Not in a good way, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Uncle Brian will beat up Uncle Phil.
It's to stay at least out of arm's reach of each other.
Oh dear.
Right, so Nick, known for DRL over the years, have you been taking part in this year's virtual stuff?
I took part not in the official season, but I did the sim season before it.
Ah, okay. Fair enough.
So I guess the first sim season, the first sim season I did was kind of just like a fun trial run for them doing like an actual like online sim tournament.
Yeah.
But I was not a part of the official 2020 season.
That's fair enough.
And I remember you in DRL actually, when you were racing. It was in London.
Yeah, I was like 3 years.
Yeah, and you were, I remember you were chasing Jet and
Gab.
Jet and Gab. And you're literally like the last couple of corners, you're sat there going, give me some popcorn! Give me some popcorn!
It was
why isn't he popcorn?
It was crazy, man. Like you see from the third person cameras like this crazy battle going on, but to be like the chase car behind it was like, wow, this is nuts.
Bless him.
So, I was going to ask, what's your go-to prop these days?
Well, I alternate either between the HQ V2S 5x4.5x3. I think that's it. Don't quote me.
Oh, it's a 4.5 by 4.3, isn't it?
It's there's a 4.5, there's a 4.3, and there's an S5. All three I use interchangeably. Sometimes even on the same quad. It's just in a big mixed box, and I just put them on and go. They all fly great. Any of the new HQ props never have one that doesn't fly good. I would say they all fly 99% equally the same in amazingness, and any of them will fly fine. Even if I've literally mixed and matched the 4.3s and the 4.5s, and I very frequently mix and match the 4.5s and the S5s because of the same freaking color. Put them on the same quad. And yeah, they're great. I absolutely love them.
Have you not tried GemFan?
I always go back and try them about once a year, and I never like them. I don't know why. I just can't. I don't know. I just can't get into them.
Kelsey's a GemFan sponsored pilot.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I like this prop.
I mean, for racing, I can say they're pretty good, but I mean, for freestyle, they don't have a prop that has a low enough moment of inertia to like really get like an incredibly locked tune in the quad. Like a lot of their props are really limited by physics more than anything. And even though they have, say better thrust versus RPM curves, or they are more efficient at certain RPMs than HQ props, when it comes down to freestyle, I'm like, I don't care. I just want it to feel good when I fly it. If I fly for a minute 35 instead of a minute 47, I don't really care. Like, I just want to do cool flippy floppies.
Yeah.
Do you happen to do any long range at all?
Man, I keep telling myself I'm going to, but I'm so scared. I'm such a little bitch when it comes to long range. I'm telling you, I have all this long range gear, all this stuff. I just can't do it. I tried it. Nikki and I went to New Zealand earlier this year, or maybe it was last year. And we tried it. And oh my God, it was the most nerve-wracking thing of my life. I can't. I can't do it, man. Even when we're at a park, I fly more than like 100 meters away, and I'm like shaking in my boots. I'm like, oh my God, I do not want to go. I do not want to fail this. I don't want to lose this quad, 100 meters, 200 meters away. Freaks me out. And I know where that fear comes from. I lost my first quad doing like a medium range flight, I guess, in the mountains, the Red Rock Mountains, right outside of Vegas. This was like 3 years ago, something like that. But yeah, I lost like the first prototype dolphin frame in a brand new Hero 7 out in the mountains out there.
Jesus.
And I never got it back. And ever since then, I can't, even if I'm watching people like in the goggles and I, see the little thing, it's like 1,600 meters from home. I can't, I got to put the goggles down. I can't even look at that. The anxiety it gives me. And it was funny, even yesterday, a couple of days ago, I was out with one of the local guys. We were flying, and he built a new long-range quad. And he was testing, I gave him the new return-to-home builds that I had from the improved return-to-home I've been working on. And even watching him, just like, he's like, I'm just going to I'll fly it out to like 500 meters and have it return to home. And I'm like sitting there watching it like, oh my God. Oh, I can't do this. Oh my God, I can't do this. This is I'm like, even when I do the testing, I get to 100 meters and boom, that's as far as I'll go before I do any testing. 100 meters, turn to home. People are like, oh, I'll test it, but going a kilometer out. And I'm like, oh, I can't even think of that.
No, you need to do it. You need to get over your fear and just do it.
Yep.
I know. It's definitely one of those things. I know when I just do it, I'm like, oh, this is fun.
The thing is, you've got to have a bit of faith in your quad.
Yep.
And it's always your favorite quad that you have your faith in.
I know.
So
a lot of it, it's not like, the problem is that there's no real good long range places here unless you go like maybe like really far out, like way far north, maybe into some mountains or something like that. Yeah. But like they're not like the Alps, they're more like slightly large hills. So there's nothing like, like a long range exhilarating place to fly. So I'm like, just flying 2 kilometers over a paddock. Like, why would I risk losing a quad for that?
Fair enough.
I can't even tell you how far I've been with my quad because
it's illegal.
Legally, it's in 400 feet.
Yeah, I think the furthest I've ever gone was probably I did 1.5 kilometers when I was in New Zealand, and most of that was vertical. And the entire time I was about to throw up because I was so nervous. And I did it like twice, and after that I was like, no, I can't do this.
It's a different form of adrenaline.
Perfectly clear video, 100% RSSI the whole time, still shaking in my boots.
Yeah, like you can't hear it anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah, that is what got me when I was like going up the mountain and I flip around and it's nothing, just complete silence. I'm like, does my quad still exist? Did I get like warped out into another dimension? Like, where did it go?
Am I watching somebody else's video feed?
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like you're not like even in control anymore.
Yeah. But also when you're that far out, the latency is real. Like even
from the sound?
No, even from the image. Like even if you're on Crossfire and you're, say for example, you're 400 feet out. Fucking goddamn low limits.
I know.
And you can't hear it, but you literally, if you blip the throttle and then to flip it over and dive, you can feel the latency that far out.
Do you really?
I
think it's shocking.
It depends, really, right? Because
so I think go on. My theory with that is that when I get like a couple 100 meters away, if you blip the throttle, like you then hear the throttle blip like a half second later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quad blips right away, but like that's what got me the first time doing some like mid-range stuff. I like blip the throttle and like the quad would start moving and then I'd hear like the whop and it would like confuse my brain for a second. I'm like,
no.
I moved the throttle.
When you're like 3.5 miles out, 400 feet, right? Then it's real. You blip the throttle and the image you're looking at, the analog image you're looking at could be like quarter of a second behind you.
Yeah, see, you're not selling the long range thing to me, man.
But it's really cool. It's a whole new level of adrenaline.
It's a different feeling.
You'll be shaking like
It's terrifying. That's what it is.
I don't want that. I don't fly to do things terrifying. I fly to have fun. It's like,
over time, you get used to the quote unquote latency between the video and the sticks and like your audio, whatever. You do get used to it, and if you blip the throttle, you know what to expect and you know what's coming next. So it's something you just need to go and do over and over and over again, just like racing, for instance. It's a whole different.
I can't even do it once, man. You're telling me I keep doing it over and over again? We're gonna get the first time out of the way.
You just need to pick up a basher quad and just send it.
Yep.
That is what I need to do. Well, the problem is that I need to I don't have many quads at all. I'm so lazy when it comes to building, and I'm so lazy when it comes to repairing. I probably have like 2 or 3 quads in like a 40% built or repaired state. And then the number of quads I could go in and pick up and plug a battery and fly is at a world record of 2 right now. Usually it's 1.5.
Wow.
But yesterday I was like, I'm gonna have 2 quads when I go out.
I literally have a wall of quads. And if
I used to have.
It will eat me inside.
See, I just put them in a cabinet. They're just like I literally have a cabinet full of quads, just like mangled together with wires and pieces that I'm like, I'll get to and fix eventually.
Oh no, I can't.
And never do.
It's working. It's not working. No, I can't do it. It's my OCD of quads.
Yeah, I can't. I'm so lazy when it comes to repairing. So lazy. It eats me, man. I'll have like a what is it? I've had like a broken top plate on one quad for like probably a year now, and I'm like, really can't be bothered to just go change the top plate out. I'm like, I've got one quad and I can take that out and fly it. That's all I need. Like one versus like 20. I'm not gonna fly 20 quads all the time.
I've got this guy here. It's got a big dent in. Don't know if you can see that or not. Is it this one?
You got a what?
It's a broken cam plate and bent standoff.
There you go. All my standoffs are bent. Like every single one of them. They're like loose and warbly. Like if I pull the top plate off, half of them just like vibrate all over the place because the threads are stripped and they don't even work anymore.
Steve, why has it gone so dark where you are? What's happened to your daylight?
My daylight is it's grey light.
It's grey light.
It's literally raining or sleet outside, so it's quite dull. So I can crank up this. Hold on.
Oh God.
Why is it not on 11?
There we go. Is it sunlight now? Hold on. Let's change. There we go. Get a bit of sunlight.
I mean, it's like winter there, so what? You don't get sunlight till like noon now? Is that how that works?
You got snowed in the other day.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, man, when we were in London during the summer, it was the weirdest shell shock to have the sun rise at like 4:30 in the morning. I was like, what planet am I on where the sun rises this early? Like, it's like 72 hours of daylight. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, how do people sleep?
Was it now? If at 8:30 it rises now, and then it's gone by
That's by
4:30 in the afternoon.
Oh,
I get out of college and it's pitch black.
Yeah, you drive to work in the morning, it's pitch black. Then you leave work to come home and it's pitch black.
Yeah, see, I don't get that.
No, I don't like that at all. I like the summer where it's like daylight in the morning. You can rip a couple of packs before you get to work, and then do work. And then when you finish work, you've got like 3 hours of daylight to rip some more packs.
I'm telling you, man, like finding a way to fly at night is crucial. That was one of the best parts about being in Atlanta was that there were so many incredibly well lit parking lots.
Yeah, we got the same.
And like, it didn't matter what time of day, man. If you're like, oh, dude, it's like 6:30 and it's pitch black outside, but you need to go rip some packs, just go to an office park because everyone leaves at 5:00. You just rip the parking lot of it. It's like got like football floodlights that sit on all night for an office park with no one in it. Like, well, I'll use it up.
Yeah, and all the office lights are still on because it's just full of cleaners.
Yeah, exactly.
Cleaners started around and just leave all the lights on. They don't care, do they?
Yeah, exactly.
They're not paying a bill, are they?
No, absolutely not. They love a vacuum, though.
Right, so we're coming to the end of the stream. I know it's ran on, half an hour longer than it usually does, but if we've got any questions in the chat,
Sam, it's a lot of fun.
If you've got any questions in the chat, feel free to call them out. I'll give it a couple of minutes and then we'll end the stream, I think.
Hey, Nick, do you do any like paid commercial work? Do you do anything like that?
No, I am in Australia on a tourist visa. I do not work here for any sort of money.
Have you in the US?
Yeah, in the US I have, but I didn't do a lot. But I'm hopefully whenever either go back to the States or become legal here, commercial will be something I'm really looking into doing. It's fun. It's really fun. The stuff you get. I mean, it really has a much like larger sense of like accomplishment when you're done with it, rather than just like going out and flying some trees for fun and stuff like that. It's a lot more kind of creative, which I like a lot. So I'm really, really hoping to do a lot more of that when I legally can.
What's the flight regulations over there? Because like Australia are really strict, aren't they?
Yeah, they're really strict. Man, they hand out fines like candy here. It's terrifying. It's really scary. Like you fly like in you fly in a state park here, like the rangers will get you right away. Like they do not mess around when it comes to drones. CASA here, they even smell that someone's breaking the regulations. Boom, fine.
What's the fine over there then?
Oh, I don't think the fines are that much. In relation, I think they go from like $1,500 up to like $30,000 or something like that. I've heard through the grapevine that they give out quite a bit of the minimum fines, like $1,500.
Right. Okay.
I've heard that's a pretty common thing that they'll just give to anyone they see doing something they don't like.
Because $1,500 Australian dollars is not actually that.
Yeah, it's like £750, something like that.
Yeah, it's like
yeah, but it's very easy to get it. So that's the problem. But also if you do something that's like really not right, they'll go hard. They'll really get you. Australia in general is very strict on regulations, just in general. I mean, like even like the biggest like culture shock coming here was like nobody speeds at all. You go exactly the speed limit at all points in time. Because there are no one. If it's 60, you're doing 60. Exactly 60. Everyone's doing exactly 60. And the second that the sign comes, it drops to 50, everyone hits the brakes, goes right to 50. There are so many the speed cameras everywhere.
You can't different in the UK because like if it's like 70 in the UK, that's the minimum that you're
exactly. That's like in the States. In the States, it's like the speed limit is the speed minimum.
Yeah.
But here, people drive like 10 under. Like if it's 60, people are like, I'm doing 50. I'm not risking it because the fines are nuts, man. If you do like 60, I even got fined the other day. I got hit in the speed trap because I was doing 50 in a 50, and then the construction zone came up and it had like a little janky sign that made it go down to 40 for like 3 blocks, and I was still doing 50 in the 40. Got slapped with like a $300 fine. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I
Like,
had to
just
do a
like-
speed awareness course.
It was oh
my god.
yeah. Actually, I wasn't even doing 50. I was 40, 47 in the 40 because I was like, I'm gonna drive 3 under the speed limit. You know, I'm not even gonna hit this because I'm so terrified of getting fined. And of course, I got caught in a freaking speed trap. You know, doing 47 in the 40, and like, it's $300. I'm like, come
I was
on.
quite lucky. I was given the opportunity to do a speed awareness course where then you don't get a fine, but you have to pay £100 for the
course.
For the course.
going. And then, which was quite lucky. I was doing 57 in the 40.
Oh, dude, they'd ship you off. They'd deport you somewhere. Like, if you did that
You
here-
would be black site listed.
Yeah, exactly. You'd never see the light of day again.
I can't speed anymore. I changed my car and I can't speed anymore. I now literally drive a Tonka toy.
Oh. Like what you get your little kids for Christmas. Like these little electric cars that you can drive around the block.
If I could
runs on
break the speed
12S.
limit, it'd be a miracle. But it's good because I visit the petrol station now like once every 2 months.
Yeah, isn't it like super expensive there? What's the?
The price crashed over the COVID period.
Yeah, same here, man. It was like when I was originally here, it was like nearly $2 a liter. It's like nearly £1 a liter, roughly.
Yeah, it's £1.26 a litre now.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I thought we had it bad here.
No.
Dude, it's like
that's
like
cheap at the moment.
Dude, it's like probably 56 here. Let me convert this. I gotta get accurate. It was $1. I paid yesterday. It's $1.09 a liter. Let's do $1.09 AUD.
That's like
Was it GBP? Or just British pounds?
Oh, the conversion.
0.6 pounds sterling.
Yeah.
60 pence a litre. What the fuck?
60 pence a liter.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's expensive. This is like twice what I pay in the States.
Ironically, that's the price for petrol in the city here. So if you get petrol on a service station on a motorway, they add like another 30 pence to that. So you'll pay
same here.
It's just like
same here.
Crazy. So
we drove down.
never fill up on a service station. The service stations are reserved for packaged sandwiches and packets of crisps. That's it.
Yep.
You never buy fuel there ever.
Yeah, it's the exact same here. You know, at least 50 cents every time you get on the highway.
Yeah. No. Service stations are reserved for pilot fuel. That's it.
Exactly.
I can't believe that. 60 pence a litre. That's for petrol, right?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I run diesel and it's like £1.40 something.
Yeah,
So,
diesel's more expensive than petrol.
It's ridiculous.
It's because
60 pence.
diesel is the devil's fuel.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they charge you more.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to say something. I'm gonna have to run to the bathroom real quick, guys. I've been busting to go for like 40 minutes. I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Trust me, I'm quick.
He's off.
He's off and he's gone. At least my hangover's gone.
Mine's just kind of.
Just peaked.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's going to come back and then Steve's going to end the stream.
I know.
We should have ended it before.
Should we just end it now?
Steve, just end it. No, because he needs to say goodbye.
I know. I'll wait for him to come back and then we'll call it a morning.
I was hoping that Mrs. Y Willy was going to say hello.
Oh, Harley Quinn. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to hear the squeaky voice, to be honest.
Be nice, Shane.
I am being nice. It's hot. Oh man, I'm popping runnies because I got heartburn from my hangover as well. Note to self: no cognac anymore. Holy crap! Especially when it's just like on the rocks.
Can't believe the weather today, man. It's ridiculous. It's just
It's
pissing it
not
down.
raining here. It is cloudy, but it's not raining.
I don't even know what it's like outside.
I haven't looked outside. I didn't even open my blinds. Wet.
Sign.
Oh no, it's condensation. Never mind.
You can't see anything. It's too much on the windows.
There he is.
You guys have enough time analyzing the room, trying to find some secret snacks?
Oh no, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, I was hoping you would.
Wait a minute. Is that a didgeridoo?
Yeah, dude, I got a whole fleet of them.
It's a didgeridoo.
It looked disguised because there's a hat on top of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, is it not? Is it not a mirror on the right hand? A mirror. Yeah, it looks like a mirror on the right.
Hey, what are you on about? Where's the mirror?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. There's a mirror.
It is indeed.
Oh, that really threw me then. I thought the edge of the mirror was the didgeridoo.
To be fair, you're pointing at it, and I'm like, wait, what is that behind me? I was going to the mirror. 'Cause you can't see the other end of it, and I was like, why do we have a pole with these hats sitting on it?
It literally looks like a pole. It looks like a didgeridoo with a hat stuck with a top.
It does. It really does.
That's so wrong. Oh well, there you go. Go
Right.
on, Steve.
Yep, right, folks. Thanks for tuning in the chat today. We'll call it a day there. So we'll do our outro. So it's a goodbye from Dan building away there.
He can't hear it. He's got such bad internet. It's unreal.
So goodbye from Kelsey and Malk.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye from Shane.
Ciao, ciao.
It's a goodbye from myself. And thank you very much, Nick, for joining us this morning or this evening where you are. It's been a pleasure. More welcome to come on anytime. And hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. And we'll call it there. Thanks very much, guys.
Sweet.
Catch you later.